Welcome back to Serendipity's Kitchen, where we show you how to make new recipes each week. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like this video. My husband and I are going on a date, but it's not just any date night. It's going to be a date night at home. And I'm going to be making fondue. So come along with me and I'll show you the steps to making a really fun, romantic dinner for two over fondue. So I actually went shopping yesterday for the ingredients I need for my fondue date night. I'm actually preparing it today, the vegetables, and then on Saturday is our actual date night and I'll have it all prepped and ready to go. So I'll show you what I bought at the grocery store yesterday, or at Costco. I got some asparagus, got some broccoli, some cauliflower, and I have some Brussels sprouts, some peppers, some little potatoes, a French baguette, some steaks, and some frozen shrimp. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to bring this pot of water to a boil, and I'm going to blanch my broccoli and my cauliflower. So I'm going to get my water started to boil, and I'm going to wash my other vegetables. Okay, these are the amount of vegetables I think that we'll need of cauliflower and broccoli. I'm just going to rinse them real quick. The next thing I'm going to prepare is my Brussels sprouts. They've already been trimmed and washed, so now I'm just going to cut them in half. Some of the leaves fall off. You can just snack on those after they roast. They're so delicious that way. Okay, now we're going to get our cookie sheet. I've lined it with the parchment paper. Put my Brussels sprouts on there. Now I'm going to drizzle this with oil. Give it a quick toss. By roasting them, you're going to make them a bit crispy. Remember, you don't want to cook them till they're just falling apart, because when you have them on your stick, dipping it into the cheese, you want it to stay all intact. Now let's put some salt and pepper on. Some salt. Toss it again. And put a little bit more oil on. So onto the same tray, I'm going to put some asparagus. Asparagus has to cook at the same temperature for 425 degrees, so I'm just going to add them to right here. I've added some asparagus to the baking sheet, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to drizzle it with some olive oil, and then I'm going to toss it so that they can all be coated with some oil. I'm also going to put some salt and pepper on. And then we'll toss it again. These will go right directly into the oven. Asparagus will be done quicker than the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to cook the asparagus for about 10 minutes, and then after that the Brussels sprouts will continue cooking. Have the asparagus and Brussels sprouts out because I got to remove the asparagus off of the tray. I'm going to set it aside onto another pan and let it cool. And then I'll be putting the Brussels sprouts back into the oven to cook for another 10 minutes. I have the baguette, and I'm going to cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And we won't need this whole thing, so I may just actually cut it in half here. Now I'll cut it in half lengthwise. We got that cut. Now I'm going to cut it into, that's about 1 inch. Then I'm going to cut this in half. So each piece will be about that big. So I'll cut this in half again. It's a nice crusty bread from Trader Joe's. So just continue cutting. Our water is boiling, and so we will go ahead and add our broccoli in. We're just wanting to blanch it, so that means it will be in there for just a minute. Bring it back to a boil. Remove the Brussels sprouts from the oven. We'll set them aside to cool. Time to remove this. And I'm just going to leave the water in there because I'm going to use the water for the cauliflower. Run cold water over this so that it will immediately stop cooking. Okay, add our broccoli. The same thing, we want to bring it back to a boil and then remove it and put it in a strainer with cold water over it so that it will stop cooking immediately. Okay, we're going to take our cauliflower and broccoli and cut them into bite-sized pieces. They've been blanched, cooled down in cold running water, and now we are going to cut them. And then they can go into a Ziploc bag until the day of our date night. These are potatoes that were left over from another meal, and they're cooked all the way, but we just want to cut them in half. We're going to put these into a Ziploc bag, and so they're all ready to go. Well, that's plenty of potatoes, wouldn't you agree, for 2 people? I have my cauliflower here in a bag, my broccoli, potatoes. I cubed my meat and I put pepper on it. Later I'll add salt to it. My bread's all cut up and ready to go. This is my broccoli sprouts, they're ready to go. Asparagus onto some saran wrap. I even snuck one, and it was very delicious. I'm looking forward to this meal. Okay, these are my sweet peppers. We want to de-seed them too. Okay, my friend, that is our fondue course for the evening. I do have shrimp that I'm going to get out the day of and prepare. It's already cooked, so I'll probably just cut the tails off and drop them in boiling water for just a bit till they're hot and then serve them. And then I also have to prepare the day of our dessert fondue, which is just going to be berries and chocolate and some banana slices. Yum, and it is so good. Hi guys, well, it's date night now, and we are getting ready to, I'm getting ready to finalize the last minute preparations. I'm so excited about tonight. I've got the table all set, and we're going to, I've set it up in front of our fireplace in our living room. The kids have went out for the evening, and so anyways, I'm just excited about this. Right now I'm going to make a chocolate fondue. So the first thing we're going to need is 1 cup semi-sweet chocolate chips. We are going to need condensed milk. Pour it in the pan with the chocolate chips. 1/4 cup of chocolate syrup. This makes the most delicious chocolate fondue. Now we're going to heat this up over low heat. And we're going to stir this frequently until all the chocolate chips have melted. Meanwhile, in another pan, put a 1/4 cup of water, bring it to a boil. Okay, my water's come to a boil. Now I need to add in some instant espresso granules, which I'm going to do just instant coffee. A Colombian coffee. I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of this. Espresso would give it a stronger flavor. Swirl this around and it'll help it to dissolve. Back to our chocolate. My chocolate chips have melted. Now I'm going to pour the instant coffee in. Stir this in and cook over low heat for 5 minutes. Now this is something you might have already. It's just a little mini crock pot, and because I can't be making this last minute, I'm going to put it in this little crock pot and let it stay warm while we're having our dinner. And then I'll pour it into a little nicer fondue pot. I'm going to make my garlic butter sauce for the steak. 1/2 cup of butter. I'm putting it in my little pot. Then I'm just going to mince this garlic. If you have something that will crush it or chop it, that's great to use. Just put this in. I'm going to melt that. Once the heat hits it, it will release its flavors and go into the butter. So I want to infuse that. All right, I need 2 cups of heavy cream. I'm going to heat it up and bring it to a simmering point and add the cheese. By adding a little bit at a time, we're going to add in 3 cups of smoked Gouda. Okay, well that's kind of melting and I'll stir it occasionally. Then I need to have 1 cup of regular Gouda cheese. There's the last of the cheese to go in. Next thing I want to get going is our fruit platter. I'm gonna save this spot here for some bananas and put my blackberries here. Okay, we're in preparation. Almost ready. I'm going to put the cheese sauce in this, and it has a little tea light candle, and you set this on top. This was such a fun date night, and the 2 fondues and the garlic butter sauce were absolutely delicious. I hope this has given you some inspiration to make your own fondue date night. It would also be fun to do with another couple. So if you make it, let us know in the comments how you liked it.